Anfield Central. This is where Liverpool's biggest nights are dissected and nothing gets swept under the carpet. Liverpool versus Man City ends in chaos as Szoboszlai is sent off by VAR and Erling Haaland strikes at the death as Man City stun Liverpool late on. One decision flipped the game, one moment silenced Anfield, and suddenly this wasn't just a defeat, it was a night full of uncomfortable questions. There were reactions that raised eyebrows, a rival striker didn't hold back. Inside the Liverpool camp, tensions are already surfacing, and while one performance offered hope, others simply weren't at the level required. We're breaking down what really happened, why it mattered, and what comes next for Liverpool. If you want proper analysis without the noise, make sure you're subscribed to Anfield Central, because this story is far from over.
Manchester City came from behind to beat Liverpool 1-2 at Anfield, keeping their Premier League title hopes alive. But the match will be remembered far more for its chaotic and controversial ending than the scoreline itself. Liverpool had taken the lead in spectacular fashion when Szoboszlai smashed in a stunning long-range free kick, a moment that sent Anfield into full voice and looked set to define the night. City responded late on, with Bernardo Silva bringing them level after a knockdown from Erling Haaland, shifting the momentum just as Liverpool began to look comfortable. Then came the turning point. In stoppage time, Alisson clattered into Matheus Nunes inside the area, and after a VAR check, Manchester City were awarded a penalty. Haaland stepped up and calmly converted from the spot in the 93rd minute, completing the comeback and putting City ahead in dramatic fashion. But the drama wasn't over. With Liverpool pushing desperately for an equaliser, Alisson went forward, leaving the goal exposed on the counter. City thought they had sealed it when Ryan Cherki's effort rolled over the line, but as Szoboszlai and Haaland chased back, both players pulled each other's shirts before the ball crossed untouched. After a lengthy VAR review, the goal was disallowed. Instead, Manchester City were awarded a free kick outside the box, and Szoboszlai was shown a straight red card for denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. Referee Craig Pawson later explained the decision, stating that Haaland committed a careless foul first, but Szoboszlai's holding offence ultimately denied a clear chance, leading to the dismissal. Szoboszlai walked off in disbelief, and City saw out the remaining minutes to secure the win, completing a league double over Liverpool and cutting Arsenal's lead at the top of the table to 6 points. The ending sparked strong reaction, with Sky Sports co-commentator Gary Neville openly frustrated by VAR's role in the finale. Neville said VAR had killed the joy of one of the great moments of the season, arguing that football's entertainment value was being stripped away in situations like this. In a match packed with quality, controversy ultimately took centre stage, leaving Liverpool furious, City relieved, and the title race very much alive.
Manchester City kept their Premier League title hopes alive with a dramatic 2-1 comeback win over Liverpool at Anfield, in a game defined by late goals, VAR controversy, and a finale that stretched beyond the 100-minute mark. For long spells, the contest was tense and finely balanced, with both sides wasting chances in an entertaining but cagey battle at the top end of the table. The breakthrough finally came in the 74th minute when Szoboszlai lit up Anfield with a stunning free kick, a moment that looked set to push Arsenal further clear at the summit. City refused to fold. 10 minutes later, Bernardo Silva dragged his side back into the contest, finishing clinically after sustained pressure to restore parity. The decisive moment followed deep into stoppage time. Alisson brought down Matheus Nunes inside the box, and after a VAR check, Erling Haaland stepped up to convert the penalty in the 93rd minute. That goal flipped the title race narrative, breathing new life into City's chase and sparking a chaotic closing sequence at Anfield.
As Liverpool pushed forward desperately for an equaliser, City thought they had sealed the win when Ryan Cherki's effort rolled towards an unguarded net. However, VAR intervened once again. The goal was ruled out, and Szoboszlai was shown a red card for pulling Haaland back and denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity as both players chased the loose ball. Despite the confusion and protests, City regrouped and saw out the remaining minutes, securing 3 massive points that keep Arsenal and Mikel Arteta firmly within reach. Bernardo Silva's influence stood out throughout the closing stages, leading City's late surge and embodying the mentality Pep Guardiola demands in title-defining moments. Haaland's contribution was equally significant. The striker had scored just once in his previous 8 matches, but showed composure under immense pressure to deliver when it mattered most. For Liverpool, the defeat effectively ends their title ambitions, while ongoing concerns remain around Mohamed Salah's Premier League drought, a situation that could have implications beyond this season. Elsewhere on the pitch, several individual battles quietly shaped the contest, with strong defensive interventions preventing the game from turning earlier. In the end, the focus returned to Guardiola. Anfield has long been a difficult venue for him, but this victory finally banishes that particular hoodoo and may prove pivotal in the wider story of City's season.
Manchester City came from behind to beat Liverpool 2-1 at Anfield, keeping their Premier League title hopes alive. But the match will be remembered far more for its chaotic and controversial ending than the scoreline itself. Liverpool had taken the lead in spectacular fashion when Szoboszlai smashed in a stunning long-range free kick, a moment that sent Anfield into full voice and looked set to define the night. City responded late on, with Bernardo Silva bringing them level after a knockdown from Erling Haaland, shifting the momentum just as Liverpool began to look comfortable. Liverpool's defeat to Manchester City didn't just end in controversy on the pitch, it also exposed a clear difference of opinion inside the Reds' camp. Arne Slot left Anfield visibly frustrated after the 2-1 loss, directing his anger at what he felt was a crucial refereeing decision that went against his side. The game itself unravelled late on. Szoboszlai's stunning free kick had put Liverpool ahead, but goals from Bernardo Silva and Erling Haaland turned the match around before Szoboszlai was sent off in a VAR-dominated finale. While much of the post-match debate focused on the red card and City being denied a third goal, Slot was far more concerned with an earlier moment involving Mohamed Salah. Liverpool were furious when Mark Guéhi was shown only a yellow card for pulling Salah back as he broke through on goal, a decision Slot felt should have resulted in a red. Speaking to Sky Sports, Slot made his feelings clear. He said that anyone who has watched Salah at Anfield over the past 8 years knows that position almost always ends in a goal, calling it a clear denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. Virgil van Dijk, however, struck a very different tone from his manager. The Liverpool captain refused to blame the officials and instead pointed inward. Van Dijk said Liverpool had no control over refereeing decisions, adding that the penalty conceded to Matheus Nunes happened at speed and could reasonably be given. He insisted the responsibility lay with the players, saying Liverpool only had themselves to blame for how the game unfolded. Looking ahead, Van Dijk urged a quick shift in focus to the next challenge, with Liverpool travelling to face Sunderland, who remain unbeaten at home this season. The wider context makes the defeat even more damaging. Liverpool have lost ground in the race for the top 4, with Manchester United now 5 points clear and Chelsea 4 ahead after weekend wins. Asked whether there were signs of progress despite the result, Van Dijk was measured in his response. He described the performance as still part of an ongoing process, admitting Liverpool lacked control in the first half, improved after the break, but ultimately saw the penalty moment decide the game. Erling Haaland sympathises with Szoboszlai after VAR chaos sealed Liverpool defeat to Manchester City. Liverpool's Premier League showdown with Manchester City descended into chaos at Anfield as a dramatic VAR intervention overshadowed a gripping contest that ended in a 2-1 defeat for the hosts. The scoreline barely reflected the drama. Szoboszlai had earlier ignited the stadium with a stunning free kick to give Liverpool the lead and put City under serious pressure. Manchester City eventually responded, with Bernardo Silva equalising after a knockdown from Erling Haaland, shifting the momentum late in the game.
Deep into stoppage time, City edged ahead when Haaland converted from the penalty spot, seemingly securing 3 crucial points for the reigning champions. But the night still had one final twist. With Alisson upfield as Liverpool chased an equaliser, Ryan Cherki tried to roll the ball into an empty net from distance. As the ball trickled towards goal, both Haaland and Szoboszlai sprinted back, appearing to pull each other's shirts in a frantic race to the line. VAR intervened, ruling out Cherki's goal and showing Szoboszlai a straight red card for denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. The decision sparked widespread debate, and even Haaland admitted he felt sympathy for the Liverpool midfielder after the final whistle. Speaking to Sky Sports, Haaland said the referee had to follow the rules, but added he felt bad for Szoboszlai, who now faces a 3-game suspension. Haaland suggested the simplest solution would have been to allow the goal without producing a red card, joking that the situation could have been avoided had Cherki passed him the ball. Referee Craig Pawson later clarified the decision, explaining that while Haaland committed a careless foul first, Szoboszlai's holding offence ultimately denied a clear goal-scoring chance. Former defender and Sky Sports pundit Gary Neville strongly disagreed with the outcome, insisting the goal should have stood. Neville said VAR had killed the joy of one of the great moments of the season, arguing that fans watch football for moments like that. Despite the controversy, City's victory reignites their title challenge, with Pep Guardiola's side now sitting 6 points behind Arsenal at the top of the Premier League table.
Liverpool player ratings versus Manchester City as Szoboszlai stuns Anfield, but late collapse ultimately defined a 2-1 defeat that helped keep the title race alive and prevented Arsenal from pulling further clear. The first half ended goalless, with City largely in control of possession without creating many clear chances, although Hugo Ekitike went close with a header and Florian Wirtz saw an effort blocked. Liverpool found their spark after the break. Dominik Szoboszlai struck a sensational long-range effort, curling the ball into the top corner in a goal reminiscent of his strike against Arsenal earlier in the season. That moment lifted Anfield and shifted the balance of the game, with Liverpool far more competitive in the second half after being second best before the interval. Manchester City, however, showed their championship pedigree. Bernardo Silva equalised before Erling Haaland's late penalty completed the turnaround and ended City's long-standing struggles at Anfield. Szoboszlai's night summed up Liverpool's evening. He delivered a moment of brilliance with his goal, but later played Silva onside for the equaliser and was eventually sent off after pulling a shirt when he didn't need to. Among the more impressive performances, Ibrahima Konate stood out once again, following up his excellent display against Newcastle with another strong showing in defence. Milos Kerkez also impressed, making a crucial early intervention to deny Haaland and showing real determination throughout, even if his final third impact was limited. Florian Wirtz continued his encouraging form, working tirelessly and showing confidence in possession, including a clever back-heeled flick to set up Salah in the first half. At the other end, Mohamed Salah endured a frustrating afternoon. He was well contained by Rehanite Meri, struggled to beat his man, and his decision-making and passing were not at their usual level. Alisson Becker had a mixed game, producing a good save from Antoine Semenyo, but conceding the penalty that ultimately decided the match. Elsewhere, Alexis McAllister and Ryan Gravenberch battled hard in midfield, while Cody Gakpo and Hugo Ekitike struggled to consistently influence the game in attacking areas. In the end, no Liverpool player was disastrous until the chaotic closing stages, but the inability to keep hold of the ball under pressure proved costly when it mattered most.